Okay, so now let's talk about the manual way to install WordPress. Now, if you were following along in the last video and you managed to install WordPress, then you can skip this one. This is for people who only have their own hosting account already, or they decided to go a different route to host their account and they're not using Bluehost. So feel free to skip this video if you've already done the installation with Bluehost. Okay, so installing WordPress manually is a little more trickier, so I want you to pay close attention to this video and please pause it if you need to. So let's get started. Okay, so we're back over at our website, and as you can see there is nothing on this site anymore. We've completely removed the automatic install, so we're going to start afresh with a manual install and show you step by step how to do that. Okay, so the first step in the process of manually installing WordPress is to go to the website wordpress.org, and in the middle right hand side of the screen you'll see the download button here. Now don't worry about the version number on the side, that will change when you come to this website and download it, because they're constantly updating the software with new releases. So you want to click on the download button and it will give you some more information about the latest release. You can click on the right hand side where it says download again, and that will simply download to your desktop. Okay, so I'm on a Mac and this is what I see in my downloads folder. Now, one of the frustrating things that happens when you download the zip file is that it's all contained within a folder. Now we want to get rid of that folder because when we come to upload the zip file and extract it, we don't want it to be in a WordPress folder because the installation will not work. So what we're going to do is we're just going to remove the WordPress zip file for the moment. So I'm going to move that to my recycle bin, or if you're on a PC you can just delete that file. We want to be working with the folder itself, so we're going to open the folder and we're going to take all these files and we're going to put them into a new zip file. So if you just right click, and again I'm on a Mac, so I will just click on where it says compress 19 items. Okay, that will create a new archive of simply just the files itself without the WordPress folder. So I'm just going to call it WordPress. Now most of you will, if you're on a PC, you will have an archive facility on your computer, so the instructions will be very similar. Okay, so we're going to just take the zip file itself, and this is what we need to upload to our hosting account. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I'm logged back into my Bluehost account. Now obviously if you're following along with these videos, then that means that you've got your own hosting account, or you decided to choose a different option. But all of hosting accounts with cPanel, which is basically the standard for hosting, will have a folder called File Manager. It will be a yellow folder like this, simply called File Manager, and that's where you need to go to upload these files. So we're going to click on there. We're going to go to the web root and click on Go. Now very simply, all you need to do is access your public_HTML folder. Once you're in that folder, you're going to click on Upload and then choose File. Okay, in our WordPress folder, remember that we've got a zip file called wordpress.zip. So we're going to open that. And depending on your internet connection speed, that will take maybe a minute to upload. And once that's done, we can simply close that window. Okay, now we need to refresh this directory to see the files, so we're going to click on where it says reload, and you can see the zip file there. So we need to extract those files, so we need to highlight the file itself, and I'm simply right clicking on my mouse button and I'm going to extract the files there by clicking where it says extract. Okay, you always want to ensure that you're in the public HTML folder, and then click on extract files. Okay, that will take a second or so, and you just click on close once it gives you the results. Okay, so you can see we're in the public HTML folder and all the files are there. you can highlight the WordPress.zip file and remove that. We don't need that anymore. And that step is done. Okay, so the next step in the process is to set up a database which will contain all your WordPress settings and all the posts that you publish. So we'll log back into our hosting account. Now obviously if you're following along with these videos, then your hosting account will be different. So it's very similar though in terms of what we'll be clicking on. We want to scroll down and find what's called MySQL databases. So it will be called exactly the same thing if you've got a cPanel hosting account, which is pretty much the standard anyway. So we're going to click on MySQL databases, and you'll have a field here for new database. Now we just want to set up a new one, so we're just going to give that a name, and we're going to call it WordPress. Doesn't really matter what you call it. Okay, we're going to click on create, and you can see it's been added. The database has been added. Okay, so once we go back, we want to also set up a username to be used with this new database. So you will see a section that says add new user, so the username here, and we're just going to call that our name. We're going to give it a password, and then we're going to click on create user. Okay, so that's been added. Okay, now once you've created a database and you've created a user, then you need to combine the two, so the user needs to be added to the database because they're both separate at this point. So you can see where we've got add user to database. Now again, this will be very similar in any hosting account that you've got. So we've only got the one user there, and we've only got the one database. Now we want to add that user to the database by clicking on the add button there. Okay, so the user that we set up has been added to the database, and we want to give them all privileges. And then we're going to click on make changes. Okay, we can click on back. That's been done. Okay, so scrolling down, we can see that the current database is the one we set up. There's nothing in there at the moment, but the user has been added to that database. Okay, so back at the main dashboard of our hosting account, we want to go back into the file manager again. And once we're in the public HTML folder, we want to find a file called wp-config-sample. We need to select that file, and we need to click on edit. Okay, and we can click on the edit button on the right hand side there. Now don't get scared by this. This is a PHP file that we need to update with our database information, the database that we just created. So this will be exactly the same on your screen, and you'll need to find where it says MySQL database username. Now if you remember the username that was created for us, we can just go back to that tab. You can see the user that we had was here, so we can highlight that username. I'm going to right click and copy that. I'm going to go back to the file and just simply paste that in here. Now you want to make sure that it is within these characters, so don't overwrite those. So we're going to select just the username underscore here. Right click there and paste. Okay, and we also want to do the same for the password. If you remember when you filled in, let's go back, when you filled in this field for the password for the actual user, that information will need to be put in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, and underneath the host name, you want to leave this as localhost. Okay, there's one field that we've missed, and that is the database name up the top there. Okay, so the database name will need to go here. Let's go back to the file again, and the database name which we created. I'm going to copy that again and paste that in here. Okay, once that's done, you want to click on the Save Changes at the top right of the screen. Okay, we can close that tab down. But one thing we also need to do is actually rename this file. Because it's called a sample, it just needs to be called wp-config. So what I've done there, I've just double clicked on here to change it. Now if that doesn't work on your screen, you can just click on rename at the top here. Okay, and we want to take out the last dash and where it says sample. So it needs to be called wp-config.php, and then click on rename file. Okay, so these windows can be closed down now, and what we want to do now is go back to our site to see what it looks like, or to complete the installation. Okay, so once you go to your site, it will redirect to this install PHP file, and it's asking you for some more information. So okay, so we're going to fill in the site name, and then your username. You can simply put your first and last name. Now you can use whatever you like here. You can use editor or just a pen name, but I would stay away from using admin as the username, because it's very common that people would use admin, and it's a lot easier for hackers to break into your site if they already know what the username is and they can just work on the password. So we're going to put the password in, and then your email address. Okay, we don't want to allow the search engine to index the site at this stage. We can always change that once we've finished our configurations, but when we're messing around with the site, we really don't want the search engines to come and find it, because we want to make sure that the site is up to par before they come along and see us. Okay, so we're going to click on Install WordPress, and you'll get a summary screen, and we can just simply log in. Okay, so you'll be redirected to your wp-login PHP file. So we're just going to type in our username and our password, and then click login. And that's done. That's how you manually install WordPress.